everyone, my name is Sima. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing another ranking of characters based on how badly I want them to throw me through a wall. I've already done one of these videos. It was about characters in Hades. This time we're doing characters from Neopets, and specifically members of Altador Cup teams, which is an event that happens every year on Neopets. I've been playing Neopets like on and off pretty much since I was like 9 years old probably. So I'm very like attached to the characters on that website. I specifically wanted to do the Altador Cup event because it's an event that's been happening every year since 2006, so I've had a lot of time to get familiar with the characters. I couldn't do every player just because there are 18 teams, there are 5 players on each of those teams, then there's also players that have retired over the course of these like past, what, like 15, 16 years this event has been going on. So I decided to narrow it down to like 30 or so characters just because there'd be like 100 otherwise and this video would take forever. So what I'm doing is I'm doing all 5 members of Team Darigan Citadel. That's my team. It's the team I've been on consistently for every year I've participated. I pretty much did this event every year it was on, except for I missed the 4th one because I was in Iran and I could not get it to work. And then I missed a couple years when I was like in college. I didn't register, but otherwise I've participated to some extent for pretty much every single year it's gone on. Like I think when I signed up this year, it told me it was my like 12th or 13th year. I think it was my 13th. They said it was my 13th year participating. And I think we're on like year like 16 or 17 of the event. Some years I like go full all-star, some years I like only get like a rank or 2. This year I don't think I'm gonna go very far because ever since they like redid the website because Flash got discontinued and they also made it more mobile friendly, like I tried to play the games this year and I like literally cannot get it to work. Like I used to be able to like just spam this game like and just play it for like hours every June, but I literally cannot do it this year just because the games are like so difficult. Like June was always my month to like catch up on TV shows because all I would do is put a show on and then play like the Altador Cup, and then I'd go all-star for a Darigan. But anyways, I'm going way off topic. The point is, Darigan is my team. They've always been my team. I like feel incredibly loyal to them, like to like an absurd degree, like considering they're not like a real sports team and there are no like real stakes here. And I never even like, I always like feel like I forget about Neopets until the Altador Cup in June. And then I never like, I get all these points every time I do this event and I get to all-star and then I never spend them and they always expire. And so I don't even get like any of the rewards. I just like literally just want the trophy and I want like the validation of my team doing well. Anyways, the point being I'm doing all 5 members of that team and then I'm also doing the team captains of every single other team plus a few like other like notable players that I just like either like, have an attachment to. I think they're too infamous to like not do. Like I'm doing Dasher solely even though he's been retired for like several years just because I feel like he's such a like important character to like the lore and the canon of the Altador Cup. If you know what Neopets is and you like are active in the Altador Cup, like none of this is like a new information to you, but like I know a lot of people in my real life like watch these videos. And so like just as like a quick like just like a quick breakdown of how it all works. The event started in 2006. It I think was meant to like coincide with like the FIFA World Cup that was going on that year. That was like the first year of the event. And the Altador Cup is basically like the World Cup or like the Neopian Cup of a sport called UU ball, which is basically like a hybrid between like soccer and lacrosse. Like you have like slings and the ball is a pet called a UU that like can roll into like a ball formation, and there are different like kinds of UUs that'll do like different things. So there's like fire ones that are like really, they burn so you can only hold them for so long before you have to pass. There are snow UUs that are really cold so they travel slower. There are robot UUs that like explode if you don't score on with them like within a few seconds they like explode. There's a bunch of different ones. The Darigan UU is actually like the worst to play with. It's so hard to play with because it like will go in random directions and like go opposite directions. Like you'll try to aim it like forward, it'll go backwards or it'll go to the side, but you can't like predict it. Like there's not really like you can kind of get the patterns down, but you never know which pattern it's gonna do. So it's really hard to like actually do. And a lot of people's tactics I know for that one is just to like let the players of the opposing team like have it until they score on themselves. So it's like, anyways, this is like super off topic. The point is I'm gonna be ranking those characters. So yeah, like all 5 members of Darigan plus team captains plus a few other characters. So we'll have 30 in total, even though there are like 100-ish players I think total that have ever been part of the Altador Cup. Darigan also has a retired player, their old goaltender, Mungo Leifler. I'm not ranking him. I just like was too young to really like form an association with Mungo, and he was only on Darigan's team for their very first year. So like I don't have super big attachments, so just like for the sake of keeping this video short, I excluded him. Also, it's like 7:15 and a hockey game is starting at 8 o'clock and I'm like very invested in it, so I have to like, I should probably start so I can get through it pretty quickly. If there are players that you like really wanted me to talk about and I didn't get to them in this video because maybe they're not the team captains, but they're still like influential members of your team, leave them down below and I will do my best to talk about them or like tell you how I would have ranked them had I put them in this lineup. There are some teams that like got pretty near close to having everybody. Like I have like I think 3 members of like Team Rue Island I think on here, just because like I really like Rue Island. I have like 3 I think members of Croc Island. So like there are some teams that have like I'll have like more than one and they're not my own team. Also like obviously like I'm wearing the black and the purple to represent Darigan. Like I'm very stoked on how this makeup turned out. I really like how my outfit looks. I'm wearing a choker. I feel very edgy. My nails match. I'm wearing Holo Taco. They're black and they're purple linear hollows on my nails. I'm just feeling very like in the zone. I feel like because I can't really participate this year because the games are so broken for me, I want to do this video as like my own way of like paying tribute to this like incredibly important part of my life, an important like time of the year for me, even though it's like I'm 26 years old and my June should not be so dedicated to like an event on a dying virtual website, but here we are. All my normal disclaimers I did in the previous version of this video apply. This is not a ranking based on like it's, and I really want to emphasize this actually for this one. This is not like based on like how like, this is not like a furry thing. It's not based on like how much like I'm attracted to the characters, because especially because this time around they're like animals, but like generally speaking, like when I do these rankings, it literally is like exactly what it says. It is like ranked based on how badly I want them to throw me or how well I think they could throw me. I also don't endorse throwing people into walls in real life, especially not without their consent, and I don't think you should try this at home. Oh, and one more disclaimer that I had was this is not based on how much I like or dislike the characters. Like obviously characters I like more will be higher up just because I think they have more throwing ability, but like if it was literally just based on like how much I like them, like Darigan would just be my top 5, and while there are a couple of their players in my top 5, it's like I have other players in there that are not like my favorites, or like I don't have particular attachment to them. Like it literally is just based on the metric of throwing ability. So like while my biases and my preferences like have an effect, this is not like a ranking based on like my favorite characters in this event. Cool, okay, let's just jump in. Also shout out to Jelly Neil. I will be using their Book of Ages just because I want to have like a visual of the characters, and for the characters I'm less familiar with, I want to like be able to like look at their histories, because like some of them like they've been around the entire time the cup has been on, like 15-16 years, so even though I'm not like super familiar with their teams or their histories, like I know of them, but then there's some that have only joined in the past like 2 or 3 years and I'm kind of unfamiliar with those newer players. So if they're like a new player and they're like newly a captain or they just got traded to a new team or something, like I kind of appreciate having the backstory. Cool, let's jump in. Number 30 is Ethel Bortz. She is a forward on Meridel. I guess she joined in 2013, but I truly don't remember her. The reason she is number 30th is 1, I don't know anything about her, and 2, she's an elderly Akara. Yeah, she's an elderly Akara, which means she's like, no, sorry, she's an Ixie. Yeah, sorry, she's an elderly Ixie, which means like kudos to her for being on a sports team, but like she's really old and I don't feel like it would be good for her back or her ligaments if she were to pick me up and throw me at anything. I also just like there's not really much, like there doesn't seem to be very much known about her other than the fact that she is an elderly Ixie who joined in 2013, so I can't really like get a grasp of her personality at all. And I feel like she's from Meridel, and like if you are not in on the lore on Neopets, Meridel and Darigan have had like 2 wars, and even now like they're like at truce, but they don't like each other, right? So like I'm not fond of Meridel's team, you know? It's like very much like a Montreal Canadiens, Toronto Maple Leafs situation. Like she could be the most generous, loving grandmother in the world, but I would not fuck with her solely because unfortunately she plays for Meridel. Maybe if she got like a better team, then I would like change my mind, but like unfortunately, yeah, no, sorry Ethel, I can't do it. So number 29 is Elon the Black Hole Helis. He's a Maraquen Akara and he plays for Team Maraqua, if that wasn't clear. He's their captain. My thing with Elon is like, this is so funny. Like I actually made this joke to like one of my friends a while ago where I was like, it's so funny to me that like Neopets in like 2006 conjured up this character named Elon who was like this super self-centered like asshole of a character, like to the point where he drove away like one of his teammates to like get traded to another team, and he's just like terrible because I don't know, I thought it was funny because his name was Elon, and there are other Elons that are, you know, famous and perhaps not the kindest of people. So anyways, I just thought that was funny. But so yeah, so Elon, literally his nickname is the Black Hole because once he gets the ball, he will not pass it. He just doesn't seem like, I don't know why or how he's captain, because he doesn't seem like he has any like leadership skills. He doesn't seem like a very nice person. It's so funny because ordinarily like, I love Maraquen pets, and I specifically think Maraquen Akaras are really cute. But like I just look at him and like it fills me with like, this deep-seated rage. Like I cannot, like I don't care how good his throwing ability is. He's also a forward, so like I'm sure he's good at like passing and throwing, but he just I look at him, I look at his like stupid eyes and that stupid like smirk on his face, and just like it just fills me with this like visceral anger where I'm like I literally hate you so much. He gets upset if he doesn't score all of Maraqqua's goals, which is like ridiculous to me. Like yeah, like it even says he lacks leadership skills, so I don't know why he's their captain. And I don't think he's ever gonna retire because like literally I just think he has too much of an ego to do it. I have so much vitriol for this little fucking guy. Anyways, so yeah, that's why he's 29. Number 28 is Keitra Dale. She is a Psy Bunny for Virtue Pats. Okay, so she's just low because I don't really like feel any particular feelings about her one way or the other. Like, I'm sure she's like fine, but like, I don't know. She's just a Psy Bunny. She's the team captain for Virtue Pats, and I do admire the fact that she's their captain when they have like robots and like really strong like mutant grundos and stuff on their team. Like she has strong as fuck players. But like you can tell she has the leadership skills because she has like harnessed that role of captain. She's their forward. It says she's apparently like a child prodigy who's like really good at UU ball. But also her weakness is her toughness, which is like a very hard thing to interpret. Like, is her weakness that she's too tough or that she's not tough enough? Like, I interpreted, I guess, that she's not tough enough, which leads me to believe, I feel like if I asked her to throw me at like a hard object, not even a wall, it could be like a fence, a window, a mirror, a table, even like anything I would, like any hard object I would be asked to hurl at, I don't think she'd be able to do it. You know, like I just don't think she would have the guts or the drive, just because it says her like toughness is her weakness, and I feel like you have to have some sort of like toughness and like mental fortitude to be able to do that. So yeah, she's just like, there's nothing wrong with her, but she just like doesn't rank particularly highly for me. I think also think there's just like a yellow Psy Bunny. It's not like a particularly interesting character design, so I just kind of am like, whatever. Number 27 is Poke Sellers. He's the team captain for Kiko Lake. He is also a Kiko and he's a defender. Apparently his nickname comes from, he has a signature poke and pass move, which allows him to score the ball off of other players. And he likes crossword puzzles, which is very cute. Okay, the thing that's really funny to me about, it's not funny, it's just, it's like, it's funny in the way that I like the way that people have interpreted this. So like, the Neopets team is kind of bad at like continuity within their own lore. So there's been a bunch of Altador Cup players. We're gonna get through to a couple of them, but there's been a few. I think Valtinus Rhea, who's on this list, is like the most egregious example. But there's been a few Altador Cup players that are like initially listed as like one gender, and then their gender changes like seemingly without like any like other sort of like update or like information. Like it's just like 1 year they're like, they have like he, him pronouns, and then the year after that they have she, her pronouns. And so it's like literally, like I don't, like I truly do not think this was the Neopets team's intention, but like all the players like of the website have like taken this upon themselves to be like, oh, this player is trans. And so there's a huge proportion of players in the Altador Cup that we all like headcanon collectively as like trans, just because the pronouns have just like changed seemingly without like any reasoning. So we're just like, I just like love that for them. And I feel like it used to be that we couldn't even really acknowledge it on the website. So all this like discourse would happen on like Tumblr or like Facebook. But now that like Neopets has like decided to join us all in 2021, you can actually talk about like LGBTQ, like not like issues, because like they don't like when you get into like issues, but you can actually like acknowledge that being LGBTQ is like a thing on the website. So I feel like now we can like openly be like, okay, so like Poke Sellers, for example, used to be listed, yeah, it says he was listed as male despite previously being listed as female before like prior to 2011. So he, like, I just love that. Like, we can just be like, yeah, like Poke Sellers is totally trans, like good for him. Anyways, but yeah, I just don't like the reason he's so low is I just don't like Kikos. Like, fuck Kikos. I think they're the weirdest looking pets. I don't understand the appeal. They have a whole like island. I don't get Kikos. I'm sorry. I have no like affection for them. I have no love. I don't even know why he's higher than like, frankly, like Keitra, or like even like, yeah, I don't know why he's higher than Keitra, to be honest. I guess it's because Keitra didn't make me feel anything, whereas Poke makes me feel like certain emotions, but I still would not want him to like throw me into a wall. Although I feel like because Kikos don't have legs and they're like entirely propelled by their arms, I feel like his arms would be really strong, so he would be able to propel me quite far into the wall, but like I don't want that. You know, like I don't like Kikos. They make me really uncomfortable. I just like, I don't like them. I really don't like them. Number 26 is Squeaky Tressif. So I think Squeaky is actually really an interesting character because it says he used to be the captain of Brightvale, and then he got, which I think why I had him on this list is because his like trade history is really interesting. He used to be the captain of Brightvale, and then he got traded to Rue Island, and apparently when he was on Team Brightvale, he was the only person on his team that wouldn't like cheat. So I just thought that was kind of sweet. I was like, oh, like you have like morals, and you have like a moral code that you will stick to no matter what. And as someone who also like tries to not cave into peer pressure, I thought it was really sweet that he was like the one player on his team that like wouldn't do that. I do think it like does not speak very highly to his leadership skills that he was the captain and he could not convince his team to not like use underhanded tactics. So like that's interesting. I do think he fits much better. He like he's on Rue Island now, and he's not their captain because Rue Island has a wonderful captain that we're gonna get to. But I do think that's like interesting that he was okay with moving to Rue Island and not being captain anymore as long as he was playing on a team that was more fair. Yeah, I just think it's very sweet. And he won a Best Sportsmanship Award, which I think he deserves. But yeah, the thing with Squeaky Tressif is I look at him and I'm like, similarly to what I said about, I think it was about Hermes in my Hades video, I just look at him and I'm like, you're just like some guy, or like some wolf, I guess. But like, I just look at him and I'm like, you exist. You seem to have a wonderful personality, but like, I don't particularly want to be like thrown by you, you know? Number 25 is Kakoni Whirl. He is the captain of Team Faerieland and the right forward. So he's pretty low just because it literally says he lacks strength. So I don't think, if you lack strength, I don't think you'd be very good for like throwing me. Also, I just look at him and he just looks like he's like so anxious. Like he just looks like he's full of anxiety at all times. And so like, even if he wasn't like lacking strength, I just feel like it would not be good for his mental health or my mental health if I requested that he throw me. Like I don't think either of us would be like happy about that. So I just think we should like steer clear of each other, like respect to him, respect to what he's doing. Faerieland has made some like interesting progress over the years, so like I think he's trying to get better, which I do admire about him, but I also like, I don't think they've ever won a cup, and I think it's solely because the way this game works is if too many people join a team that don't play, it drags the team average down, and so they don't do as well. Because the whole thing of the Altador Cup is they want to make it so that like the big teams don't just all steamroll everyone else every year, so they do based on like team size to effort averages, so that like Kiko Lake, which has like I think collectively like 4 players, and like Faerieland or Darigan, which all have like hordes of people, can like compete with each other. And so I think a lot of the times Faerieland gets like unfairly penalized because they're such a huge team with like probably a large proportion of like really young girls who probably don't like have like the attention span to spend like 6 hours a day playing U-ball when they could like, I don't know, be doing stuff with their friends or whatever. So anyways, that's the thing, is he's kind of a cute little dude, but I don't think he's very good for throwing, which is why he's pretty low. I also feel like I haven't mentioned this. This is unrelated to anything, but it's so interesting. I thought I picked Darigan when I was younger because I thought it was because I was like a little emo child and I'd already become an emo child, but then I looked it up like when this event started. It was 2006, which was before I really got into like bands. Like I feel like my emo band phase like started like a year or two later. I remember being on Neopets when I first discovered like All Time Low and Fall Out Boy. Like I remember being on Neopets, so like I already like participated in this event in 2006. And so like even though I feel like everything about Darigan like screams My Chemical Romance, like their colors are purple and black and red, and they're like very like literally they're like emo, but I guess I was like emo before I even knew what emo was. Like I think I was just trying to be really edgy. Like, I even remember I didn't know what, like when the event first got announced, I like didn't have any particular attachments to any world. I knew I didn't like Faerieland because it was like, you know, when you're younger and you're like, I hate everything pink because I don't want to be associated with being a girl, because like I want to be like not like other girls, and like you like have all this internalized misogyny and rage towards like the concept of anyone looking at you and being like, do you like pink? So like I knew I didn't want to be Faerieland, but otherwise I didn't really have like an opinion about the other worlds. So I did a quiz because Neopets had a quiz. I don't know if they still have the quiz actually. They might, but they had a quiz and you could like do the quiz and it would tell you what team you should join based on that. And I got Maraqua, and I almost listened to it because I remember my thing when I was younger was like I was always in the water. I loved swimming. I was like, I'm gonna be a mermaid one day. Like I was like obsessed with like being in the water. And so like Maraqua was like pretty good. Like I literally almost chose them. Like I went to click in, I went to join because that's like, what the quiz wants me to do. But then I was like, but Darigan is so fucking cool. Like look at their little like logo, look at their like colors, black and purple. I was just like, it was just so cool. I was like, I want to be edgy. And here I am like 16 years later, and I still don't think I'm edgy, but I still want to be edgy. So it's like I was emo before I knew what emo was. Like it's like literally like what came first, My Chemical Romance? What came first for me, My Chemical Romance, or like choosing the emoest team on Neopets.com? And it literally was choosing the most emo team on Neopets.com. So anyway, our next player is number 24, Wizard Wendell. He's male. He's the captain of Meridel. He is their forward. Again, Meridel, I cannot fuck with Meridel. Like I'm sorry, like I can't do it. He also just looks like, I don't like techos. That's the kind of pet he is. I don't like techos. They make me really, again, they make me really uncomfortable. I don't like their eyes. The thing is, I think frogs are really cute in real life, but every single frog species on Neopets, like techos, quiggles, I hate them so bad. I guess, is he a frog? Is he more of a lizard? I don't know, but I don't like Wizard Wendell. Like I'm sorry, I don't. He's from Meridel, so like again, we're like mortal enemies. He became captain after Sir Apollinaire Fredo left the team. It is kind of sweet. It says after the fall of Faerieland, he organized a charity ball in the hopes of raising funds for the Meridel from the Meridel nobility, which I think is kind of cute. Like he wanted to like help his neighbors, but like yeah, he's just like, this is why he's like pretty high but not high. It's just like I can't fuck with him. I'm sorry. He's like he's just a boring character design for a team I don't like. He seems like a nice enough guy. Nothing about him screams like throwing ability though. Like I guess he's a forward. I guess he looks like he has pretty strong arms, but like I just don't think he has it in him. I don't want him to throw me. I just think we should like steer clear of each other, you know? Like why force a dynamic that doesn't need to happen is all I'm saying. So that's all I'm gonna say about him. He's been on Meridel's team like since the beginning, so I do admire the longevity. Number 23 is Foltagio, who I believe is the captain of Altador. Yeah. So Foltagio is a Mincy. He is the captain for Altador. He was a forward for Shenku, and then he got traded to Altador in 2012. It says he has high expectations of himself, and despite good performance, is always disappointed. If that ain't fucking me. Like, dude, Foltagio, me too, buddy. Like, I also do look well, and then I'm always disappointed with myself nonetheless. So, like, I understand that. I also have high expectations of myself that I always think I never reach. He played for Shenku in 2012, and then, or in 2011, and then was transferred to Altador in 2012, and became their captain in 2018. Sorry, no. He played for Shenku from 2007 to 2011, and then Altador from 2012 to 2021. Okay, this is a really fun fact though. It says he appeared in a vision of ancient Altador, implying he's either very old or capable of some form of time travel. In this appearance, he was not missing an eye. Yeah, he's missing an eye, which I think is also very cool. Just, again, like, he has very cool character design, but I have no, like, attachments to him particularly. Like, that bit of lore, I didn't know that until, like, I was, like, reading up about these characters when I was trying to rank them. And I think that little bit of lore about him being able to time travel is very interesting. Like, low-key energy, love to see it. Like, get that time travel energy going, bestie. But, like, yeah, I just, like, don't, he's just, like, a little dude. Like, look at, he's so little. I don't know if I can, like, I don't look at him and go, yeah, well, you are the one for me, you know? Like, I just don't think, like, I think I'm too large to be, like, successfully picked up by him. I know you kind of have to put mechanics aside, and we're gonna talk about this a bit when I get to Cap later, but, like, you kind of have to put, like, the mechanics of, like, animal to, like, human size, like, aside for this to even be, like, a like, productive thought exercise in any way. But, like, especially with him, he just, like, gives off the energy of, like, a little child that I would like to pick up in my arms and, like, kind of, like, cradle, you know? Like, he's just, like, a little dude. He's a little dude. I don't want him to throw me. I don't think he has a lot of throwing ability. He's just a little guy. He's just a little friend. He's a pal, he's a dude, he's a time traveling wizard, whatever. I'm gonna let him do his thing. Also, it's like Altador. I kind of feel bad for Altador. They always get the short end of the stick. Number 22 is Jerlyn Fonnet. She is the captain of Crulador, and she plays a defender. She's a Norbu, which is not one of my favorite species. I thought she's good at defense, but she can also turn into offensive tactics. This is kind of cute. She's pen pals with Brains Mortigan, who is on the Haunted Woods team. I don't have Brains on my list. I'm so sorry. I just, like, he's not a captain, and he's, like, I already had so many play characters from Haunted Woods that I, like, could not justify having Brains also on this list, but I do love Brains. There were rumors going into the 10th Altador Cup that if Crulador's performance did not improve, she would be fired. So it's kind of depressing. Crulador has won, I believe, once or maybe even twice. So I guess that's why she still has her job. Yeah, the thing with Jerlyn Fonnet is I look at her and she looks like one of those women that, like, does not take a hint. Like, she'll come and start talking to you and she will not leave, and even though you have your headphones in, you are giving her one word answers. You just, like, very clearly are, like, in your own zone, and she, like, does not get that. That's the energy she gives me, and so, like, I don't want to be near her, and so, like, I don't want to, like, involve her in my, like, please throw me across the room into the wall shenanigans, just because I feel like I would get irritated with her very quickly. But she just, like, hasn't done anything wrong, and she does, like, she looks tall, so, like, I feel like because she looks tall and she has, like, a good balance of, like, offensive and defensive techniques, like, I think if I wanted her to do it, she would be very good at it, which is why she's, like, higher than a lot of other characters, but I just don't want her to do it. You know, that's her problem here. It's like, I think she can do it, I just don't want her to do it. Number 21 is Pretariel. She is the captain of Terror Mountain. She is a defender. It's she's capable guard and has fantastic passing skills, but has had serious scoring problems in the past. So again, she's also been, like, on Terror Mountain since the beginning, since 2006. She has not budged. I actually love Pretariel's character design. I just think, like, I think all of the, like, anyone who's from, like, Terror Mountain or Mystery Island has, like, very fun character design. Just because I think the outfits are really cute. Like, she's, like, in her, like, little, like, permanent, like, it's like a sports outfit, but it also has, like, the fur trims and, like, the parka-esque, like, aesthetic. She just looks really warm. She looks very cheerful. She looks like she's having a good time. She's happy to be there. She's happy to participate. Yeah, I love her. I want good things for her. I think she just seems pretty well-rounded, which is why I think she would be, I don't think it would be, like, the best throw of the night or anything, but I do think she would be, like, a solid person to throw me through a wall. And I think we both have fun with it, you know? Like, it would be, like, very much like a besties bonding event, and I love this for her. She's an Aisha, if that wasn't clear. Yeah, I love her. She just looks so happy all the time. Like, this, like, yeah, love her. Number 20 is Fiorina. Okay, so the thing with Fiorina is I actually don't like her as a person, but I do love her character. I think it's just because, like, I think the thing with Fiorina and, like, a lot of things with Neopets is I think characters that are Eries are always drawn so nicely, but then when you look at Eries as, like, a pet, they're awful. Like, they're so hideous, but, like, characters that are Eries always look so good, and that's my thing with Fiorina is I fucking adore her character design. Like, she's my favorite on Meridell, like, easily. She just looks so cool, so badass. I love her hair. She looks so capable. And, like, honestly, prior to having done my research and reading up about her, she probably would have been even higher. But, like, I've read about her, and, like, she just seemed like such an awful person that, like, it made my, like, affection for her go down. Like, it says, so she's a forward. She's their highest scorer. But it says King Scarl had to gather more taxes to keep her as a player for the 2007 season, which I think is so, like, how much money do you get paid, girl? Like, you probably a lot already. Meridell already, I feel like the citizens are all poor. Like, they all get taxed to shit because of King Scarl. So, like, asking for more money knowing he's gonna put them in that position is, like, a scummy move, I think. Like, she very much gives off, like a bougie, rich, like, wealth hoarding, like, aura, which makes me, like, very upset. she has been on the team since 2006 without changing, so I guess like whatever salary boost she got was like enough to retain her loyalty for a long time. But like it just upsets me that she's so clearly wealth driven, because if she wasn't so like obsessed with money, she'd be way higher up. Because like I love her character design so much that I'm willing to like put aside the fact that she like plays for my rival team and like I hate Meridel. Like I'm willing to put that aside because I think her character design is so good, and she'll just look super capable. Like she just looks strong as fuck. Like I really do think she would like be able to throw me like very cleanly through the wall. Like she would not miss. She'd like pick a part of the wall, she'd draw an X on it, and she'd punt me like right through, and it would be a solid, nice throw for everybody. So it's upsetting that she loves money so much, because I can't fuck with people that are like relentless wealth hoarders, you know? So unfortunately for Faerieland, she can't be higher than that. Even though she like, if it was literally just based on like throwing ability and character design, she would be, but like, it makes me not want to be thrown by her because of that. Number, I think 19, right? Yeah, we're 19 is Zoe Jr. So he's another one of those characters. He's not a team captain. I just picked him because I like him. Zoe Jr. is a Corbat. He is a forward for team Haunted Woods, I believe. Haunted Woods is another one of those teams I really like. I almost joined Haunted Woods also because they were kind of spooky and edgy. And then like Darigan won out like at the last minute, which is kind of fun. But I've always like felt a kinship for them, because I feel like Darigan and Haunted Woods and like Croc Island kind of have like a weird like solidarity triangle, because we're all like kind of the edgy teams, and we also we all did very well in the first couple of Altador Cups. It was literally only after they kind of changed the way the scoring worked, and I guess they tried to even it out even more, that we all kind of fell out of being powerhouses. But for the longest time, it was like us three like against the world. So I feel a lot of affection for those teams, even though they're not my team. Anyways, I like Zoe Jr. because he's a little guy. Like he literally is such a little guy, but he's so strong. Like it literally says he can speedily get the ball down to the other end of the field, and contrarily, oh, but it does say that like even though he's like really small, you'd think it'd be easy to like for him to get around defenders, but like it's not really. But I think because he's so good at scoring, and he's also like so loyal, he's been like, I just love Zoe Jr. I look at it. Okay, the thing with Zoe is he's a little dude, but he's like a little dude with power, and I think as someone who's also small, and I ideally would like to perceive herself as someone with power, I think there needs to be more representation for strong as fuck short people. You know, like short people who are small but will literally like demolish you. And I think Zoe Jr. is really good representation for that. And also he just looks like a little shit, which I love. Like he just looks like he's up to something, and like I really respect that. So yeah, if Zoe Jr. can and should throw me at any moment. Number 18 is Cap Bonifay. Okay, if this was a ranking of how much I love characters, Cap would be like number like 4 or 3 even. I fucking love Cap. She is my girl. She's our first Darigan member, man. Like again, Darigan bias. If it was only based on how much I love her, she'd be way higher up. But I had to try to be fair. And my thing with Cap is, again, I don't know how the mechanics of this work, like because she's a bug, you know? And so like I don't even know like realistically like in the lore of the game, like how does a bug not get squashed by like a fucking like I don't know, elephant, or even like a, I don't know, like a, even our teammates, man, like how does like Rashar, who's like a giant shark ass looking creature, not crush her by accident? Like she's literally a bug. But despite all that, I'm assuming somehow like, and then it's like, are they all the same size? Like are the bug characters the same size as the elephant characters, which are the same size as like the frog characters and the wolf characters? Like I don't know, like no one has ever sat down and explained this to me. And like on the games, they all look kind of similarly sized, like not exactly the same size, but pretty similar. So she must be like a huge ass bug. The point being, I love Cap. She's the only girl on her team. Hashtag girl power. We love a girl that can go toe to toe with boys, you know? Like we love to see it. Like I said, she's a buzz. She plays her Darigan. What I think is really interesting about her is that it says she took a vow of silence before the first Altador Cup after she had some disagreements with the media, which I love. It's like giving me like Naomi Osaka, Serena Williams, like fuck you, fuck your questions energy. Like I just love that. She did break it eventually. I don't know if it was like, I don't know if she got an apology from the media, if she decided to like, it was easier if she could just like tell them off to their face instead of ignoring them. I don't know what made her change her mind by it. I just like love that little bit of like lore. Like she doesn't take shit. Like that's what I love about Cap. She does not take shit. And the thing with all the Darigan players, like we'll get into this later, is they're like, my perception of them is very much shaped by like the fandom, because I was very much immersed specifically for my team, like into like what fan perceptions of them were, and like the fandom that developed on like Tumblr and stuff. Like this is gonna sound so fucking stupid, but I would like in like I don't know what was it, like 2013 maybe, something like that, really way back in the day, I would like RP as like Rashar, and like so I had like perceptions and like head canons that developed for everybody on the team, and so that like really colors my perceptions of all those characters. And so Cap has always been like, she takes care of her boys, but she also does not take shit from her boys, and I love that so much. Literally the only reason she's so low is because again, she's a bug, and no matter how much they scale her up, she is still a bug, and so I don't know how good a bug would be at throwing me. But like, I fucking love her. I love her. She's such a badass. I love her so much. Number 17 is Lilo Blue Mario. icon legend. He is the team captain of Team Rue Island. He's a blue Maru, if that wasn't clear. He's one of their forwards and he's considered one of the best players of all time, which is an assessment that I think is very fair. I think the thing with Lilo is he's so good at being captain. Like he's so motivating to his team. He's so encouraging. He's just like, Rue Island had some rough years and he's never let it get him down. He's always believed in his team and their ability to like get back to the top. He's loyal. It says he turned down a lot of better offers in order to sign with his home team, which is Rue Island, which I think is like the complete opposite of Faerieland energy. Like she was still willing to sell out her home team unless they give her more money. Whereas like he's always been like, no, I want to play for Rue Island, and I love that. I love the like drive to play for where he's from. It says he also appeared in a vision of ancient Altador, implying he's either very old or capable of some form of time travel. I love this like subplot. Like I didn't know this about any of the players, but apparently a bunch of them were like capable of time travel or like really, really fucking old, which I love. Like I would love to know more. So anyways, yeah, Lilo Blue Mario, he's pretty high up because I just look at him and he looks strong, you know, like he looks like a tall dude. Blue Marios are based on kangaroos, which I know, like, as you know, as everyone should know, kangaroos are jacked as fuck. So like, I think if any player could like throw me, it would be Lilo. What is happening outside? Hello, we're trying to film a video, a very important video about Neopets here. Thank you so much. If you could stop. Yeah, he's strong as fuck, but also really friendly. So I would trust him to throw me and not hurt me. I would trust him to not use it as an advantage or like a way to hurt me in order to like hurt my team. So much love and respect for Lilo Blue Mario. Like truly one of my favorite players ever. Lots of love and respect for the dude. Like truly, I think he's like all around like solid, would throw me impeccably. Number 16 is Aldrich Bane. I have no feelings for him. He is the team captain of Moltara and he's a forward. It says he's skilled at scoring, but he lacks vital passing skills, which leads me to believe he's not very good at aiming. So I don't know if the throw would be the best throw, but he also does look very strong. And he's also like perpetually like on fire because he's a magma pet. So I just think it would be like an interesting experience. Yeah, there's not too much about him. I think he's pretty high up. Like I don't have any feelings for him. Like I like my love for like Lilo Blue Mario or like Cat Bonfi. They're both so much higher. But I just like he looks strong. He looks stable and sturdy, and so like, I just feel like I had to put him high. But I don't have like any strong reasoning for him to be here. I just like didn't feel like he belonged any lower. Number 15 is Montecito, who is he's a defender. I don't know. I don't actually know why I picked him. But anyways, Montecito is a Kachik who plays for Brightvale. I think he's a skunk Kachik. He looks like a skunk Kachik. He is a defender for Brightvale. I think I know why I picked him. It says he's known as the baby-faced mauler, which I think is so funny because that's literally what he looks like. He's like so like, but he's also like has like a baby face, which I think is so hilarious. So Brightvale, for people that don't know, is like the sister city of Meridel. Like they're literally like they're ruled by two brothers, like King Scarl, who's a dumbass, rules Meridel, and then King Hagen, who's his wiser brother, rules Brightvale. And so Brightvale is like kind of more boring than Meridel, but also like I respect them so much more than Meridel. Oh yeah, so he is their team captain actually. I wasn't sure why I had him on this list, but he is their team captain. It says, yeah, in 2018, he was promoted to team captain, and then in 2018, there were rumors that he got yelled at by King Hagen. I think I put him high up because I feel like somebody who's called the babyface mauler must be really, really strong. And he does seem to have some good ideas. Like it's apparently like Brightvale brought in like a statistical guru to like help them like gauge how like, players should react in certain situations, which really does make sense. Like Brightvale is known for like being a really smart community of people. So they brought someone in to like analyze like Volgoth from Mystery Island, for example, who we will get to. And to figure out like statistically how likely he is to like run over you versus passing versus like getting distracted versus like other situations. So he seems like he's like got a lot of potential. I think there's room for him to grow as a captain. Because he's the babyface mauler, I have to assume he's very strong. And because he's strong and also smart, I think he could throw me a considerable distance through a wall and it would be like safe. Like I think my neck wouldn't break. My like vital organs would not be pierced by like any like wood. I just think it would be like a fun and enjoyable throw for all of us. I think he'd be happy to do it, to be honest. Nothing about this tells me he wouldn't. And it says he also was in that vision of ancient Altador, implying he's either very old or capable of some form of time travel. I need to get these bitches like in a room and like ask them about this time travel being old thing, because like I would love to get it on that. Like who do I have to pay to get into this club of like secret Neopets that are really old and capable of time travel? Like I need to know. Anyways, yeah, that's why Montecito is up there. I think he's so interesting. Like there's so much to unpack in that little blurb. Like babyface mauler, hired a statistical guru, got yelled at by the fucking king of his like where he's from. Like I would shit my pants, but he was apparently like he laughed it off. Time travel is very old. Much to unpack. Would trust to throw. Would go the distance. Number 14 is Tormo, the Terror of Frayne, also from Darigan, also dear and beloved to me. I again, my perception of him is very much associated with my like RP that I would do in like 2012. But he had like, the thing with him was he's this is canonically he's like a practical joker. Like part of like where he got his nickname as like the terror is like, one, he's a terror on the field, like he's like a really good defender, but two, he like plays a lot of practical jokes on his teammates, which I think is just like so fun. So he would joke around with Reshar and his other teammates a lot, but he has like a really soft spot for him, for Reshar, who was the character I played. And we'll get to Reshar because like he, more than any other player on this list, is so shaped by like my personal perceptions of him. But I just think I just love that he's like this tiny little dude. Like he's a tiny little penguin looking fucking bird. He's a Bruce, but he is just like so, and he very much like has like a shield up. Like he will not show his true emotions, but he's such a soft spot for his teammates. He loves his teammates. One of the things I love about like Darigan as a team is, besides like Mungo in their first year like retiring, the rest of them have never like wanted to get traded, have never expressed an interest in being traded. So I feel like they're very like tight-knit squad. I feel like they really are like a family to each other. And so like every single one of those players is so near and dear to me. Like if like the Neopets team like changed the composition of Team Darigan, I would be like devastated. Like I would genuinely be like so upset. Like I would literally write letters to complain. I think if they retired someone, I would still be really upset, but I would be like marginally less upset. But if they traded someone, I would be so fucking pissed. Like unbelievably, unimaginably angry. Anyway, he's the right defender. It says he isn't fantastic in scoring or passing, but makes up for it where it counts with his guarding and vice-like tenacity. So like I think because he's got that tenacity, I think it wouldn't be like the best throw of the night, but I think he'd be like a pretty solid throw. And my like personal like affection for him is why he's so high. Like I would love to be thrown by him. I think he's just like a little guy with a lot of strength and a little tiny body. Oh my god, it's 7:53. Holy shit. Okay, this game starts at 8. Hockey games never start at 8. Like that's probably when they're gonna start doing the anthem and shit. But like, my god. Okay, we gotta hustle. Number 13 is Marsha Grelinek. She is the captain of Team Shenku. She plays as a forward. She's also Norbu. My thing with her is like she's everything that Derlin Fauna doesn't. Like I look at her and I'm like, okay, you look responsible, you look trustworthy, you look like you have really good perceptions and social cues, and so you would not bother me. It's actually speed and skill, but occasionally lacks power. So I don't think the throw would be very good, but I think it would be very well aimed, and I think that is almost like equally as important. And I just look at her and she like looks tall and she looks capable, and I feel like because she looks so tall and so capable, I just like inherently like trust her a lot. And so because of that trust, I would allow her to throw me. She's also like, I feel like everyone at Shenku is like, seems to be like very like knowledgeable, and like I feel like they really encourage you to like flesh out your skills in Shenku and not only be good at one thing. So I feel like she's very like zen and like would be able to teach me a lot about like not getting into my own head, and like I don't know, it's just like it would be like a very like having the opportunity to talk to her prior to her like hurling me through a wall would be like a really good like opportunity to get a lot of really good advice from her. So that's why Marsha is so high up. Number 12 is Early Quinnock. Early Quinnock is another trans character, I think. He used to play for Brightville, but then he got transferred to Kiko Lake to be their goalie. What I like about Kiko Lake is all of their like non-goalie players are all Kikos, but then their goalie is always a POFin, which makes sense because Kiko Lake is underwater, but I like that they always have like the one POFin player. He's another character that seems to be trans because he apparently was listed, it's kind of unclear, just as he was listed as male despite previous evidence to the contrary. I don't know what this previous evidence is, but this appears to be a permanent change as he continued to be listed as male in the following years. So anyways, we love a trans icon. POFins just like look so fucking strong to me. Like I've never seen a POFin and been like, that fucker is not strong as hell. So looking at Early, I'm like, yeah, I think if you had a way of getting your like hooves and like, and I guess they can because like that's how they catch the U-ball. So like they do have some sort of like dexterity, I guess, in their hooves. But I think he would be really, really strong at throwing me because he just looks strong as hell. Like I think like POFins are based off of like horse mermaid like hybrids, right? So I think like they're basically they're literally seahorses. So I think Early would just have the strength and the power to throw me a considerable distance. I think goalies also just in general have to be good at that. Like I think they like a lot of the times will end up catching the ball and having to like pass it really far to like a teammate or something. So like I think their throwing ability is really, really good. Early looks strong. I'm fond of POFins as like a pet species anyways. Yeah, I can't fuck with him. He would do a great job. Number 11 is Jer Toilette. Okay, if this was solely based on like affection for characters, Jer would be so much higher. She's like, I think one of my favorites off of like Team Darigan, who's not of my own team. So Jer Toilette used to play for Maraqua. I think she played for Maraqua in their first year, and then she got so irritated with Elon, which like I respect so much. She got so irritated with Elon the black hole Hueless that she like walked. She asked for a trade. She got traded to Root Island. She's a Moroccan Erie. Yeah, so she was sick of playing in Elon Hueless' shadow and switched to Root Island to play the same position, which is as a forward. That's why she's on this list. She's not a captain or anything, but I just like think she's so cool. I love her backstory, and she's been on Rue Island ever since. And I think her character design is like maybe my favorite or like my second favorite. I love her character design so much. I just think she's like so colorful. I just in general love Maraqua and Eries. I think they're very cool looking, and her Maraqua and Erie style combined with like, the bright colorful colors of like Rue Island just come together as like to like put together like a picture of a very cool character. She's having a good time. She looks strong as fuck. I think because she has the mental fortitude to know when she's being treated poorly and to walk. I think that translates into like physical fortitude and strength as well. So I think her throw would be really excellent. And that is why she's so high up on this list. I love her. I love her character design. I love that she's like a bad bitch that will not take shit. And I think I want to believe her throw would be really good, you know? Number 10 is Dasher Solely, aka the only retired character on this list. I had to include Dasher because I feel like he's the most like famous like character on like to have ever participated in the Altador Cup. Like I just feel like Dasher Solely was so beloved, not only to his own team, which was Croc Island. He was their captain for a very long time, but also just like everybody. Like I feel like when Dasher retired, I was mournful. Like I was really upset because he was like the Wayne Gretzky of like U-ball, I feel like. So yeah, Solely had been with Croc Island as long as anyone can remember. He was the team captain playing as forward. For a long time, he claimed each Altador Cup would be his final one, but he always returned for one more. He planned to retire just before the 5th Altador Cup, but an injury to his replacement forced him back into the team. He did, however, pass the title of captain on to Garvin Hale, who is on this list, and we will get to him. He then went ahead with his retirement the following year. So yeah, I just love Dasher. I just think he's like I have so much respect for him. He's just one of those guys where you can't not respect him. You can't not respect his hustle, his love for his team, his dedication to his team and his homeland. I love him. I was really sad when he retired. He's like a pretty small guy. Like he looks really small, but I think he's so capable. Like I think in that little body holds so much strength. Like he was a forward for so many years. He was like an old dude. I know now we have like Ethel who's like old as fuck, but like quite literally before like elderly pets were a thing, Dasher was like pretty old, and he brought it like every single year. Like truly he brought it, and like I feel like he still has like so much power in that tiny little body of his. So I just feel like one, I would love to be like picked up and thrown through a wall by like a legend. Like I just think it would be such an honor. Like I would just feel so blessed and like honored to like meet him and like shake his little hand. But I also just think he would be a really good throw. Like I think like contrary to his like size and the fact he doesn't like look particularly strong or particularly jacked, like I think it would be like one of the best throws, if not the best throw of the night, to be honest with you. Number 9 is Reshar Khalife. So Reshar is the goaltender for Team Darigan Citadel. He's a Jet Sam. He took over after Mungo Leifler retired after the first Altador Cup, so he joined in the second year. So he's the youngest member of Team Darigan. A lot of my feelings towards him are definitely headcanons because again, I roleplayed him for like a couple years on like fucking tumblr.com of all places. So I have a lot of feelings about him. My personal headcanon is even though he looks very grouchy and he looks very angry, I think he's very passionate about his game, and I think in his free time, he's actually a sweetie. Like I think he's so soft. I think he very much has like the baby of the team mentality. One of my headcanons for him was that he really liked like braiding together like flower crowns in his spare time, and he would get really excited to leave Darigan Citadel because there aren't really flowers up there, to like go to like the rest of Neopets just to be able to like see flowers and see colors, and like he very much is the baby of the team. The whole team like looks after him. Yeah, it's he's quick, he has good hands, and he has a lot of energy. His only weakness really is that he's inexperienced, but that was like his description in like the second Altador Cup, and we're on like the 16th one now, or like the 17th one now. So like I don't think inexperience is really like a weakness for him anymore. Like, I think he's probably really good. Again, he's a goalie, so I think he's very capable of hurling me really fucking far, but because he's such a gentle soul, I think he would do it in a way that would not harm me. I would not feel hurt afterwards. I think it would be like a really good throw, and I would feel like I would land in a very comfortable position. I would not hurt myself. It would just be really fun, and I just like love him so much. Like the reason he's so high is because I have so much affection for him in my heart. And again, like I was so happy when he joined the team. He's like literally my little baby. He's like my child. Like he's so important to me. He's like a little guy. He's the baby of his little team, and I just like I love him so much. Like I cannot explain to you how much I love Reshar. Like he's so important to me. What a dear. Number 8 is Valsinus Rhea. Valsinus is another character who is trans, I'm pretty sure. She is a uni who plays for Faerieland. She started out by being named Valtonia Rhea, and she was a girl, and then it seemed like she like transitioned to being a boy, and that's when she took on the name Valtinus. But then I don't know if she had decided that was just not for her, and she transitioned back to like using like she, her pronouns. Either way, I don't know her situation, but I like love her. I respect her. She is so strong. Like unis just in general are like really strong looking like character. Like I think that was my reasoning for putting her on this list, even though she's not Faerieland's captain, is because she just looks so strong. Like she's one of the strongest looking characters I think on this whole list. Like just looking at her, like she has power in her forelegs, in her back legs. She's just so incredibly strong. And people make fun of her because like Faerieland's not like a very good team. They think she can get scored on really easily, but I don't think that's necessarily her fault. Like if you don't have a good team in front, like Carey Price knows this. this is maybe a different year, but like generally speaking, if you don't have a really good team in front of you, you can be the best goal scorer in the world and you will not get very far. The game started, but I'm still not done, so we're gonna keep going and we're just gonna hope nothing super interesting happens in the first like 10 minutes of the talking game. My cup even matches my team. That wasn't even on purpose. So what I'm saying about Valta is I just like really admire her tenacity. I think if she had a better team in front of her, I think she would do wonders. Like I think Faerieland would do so much better if their like offensive team was like much stronger. I think for a goalie, she does her best with very little to work with. I think I have a soft spot for her because I did write a fic. I actually don't remember if this was when Baltinus was using he/him pronouns. I can't remember. But I remember I wrote like a story, like an article for the Neopets Times, which is basically like a glorified, like, it was like weird because it's like a newspaper technically, but then they also take like fic, basically like fan fiction. But I wrote like a fic on that website or for the Neopets Times, and it was basically just like, I think it was Leighton Vickles, who we were gonna get to. I think he was meeting up with her because I think they were friends and they were having dinner together at like, at some, like, I think they were having dinner together at some like, it was essentially a bar, but it was like a restaurant in Altador, and they were just kind of like, he was just like venting to her, and I was just like, and it was like a fun little friendship that I like kind of like put together between them. And I don't know why, like I don't remember what made me choose her to be like the character that I wanted him to like have a discussion with, but like I really liked the idea of these like two seemingly very oppositional like people on these very like oppositional teams that have a completely different like aesthetics, and like one of them is super edgy and like gives off this very menacing arrow, and one of them's from like Faerieland who's is very floaty, like them having like this kinship and this bond, and like really like, as somebody, I think my thing was it was during one of those years where like Darigan was doing pretty badly. I wanted him to turn to her for like advice on, unfortunately because Faerieland is used to doing poorly, like how to cope with constant failure without getting too down on yourself. Because like with her, it's like she has like has a really strong personality, and she's very good with coping with like failure and loss. And so I wanted him to get some advice from her on like how to lose, basically, like how to be okay with losing, and how to know like you put your best foot forward and it wasn't enough, and how to not let that completely like wreck your mental health. And it was just like, I was so young reading it. It was not well written, but it was just like so, I remember being so invested about like wanting to make sure that this like was like these fictional characters like that I like established bonds between them, and that those bonds felt like real and authentic, and like kind of like the thing you would see between like, you know, like rivals essentially, but like people that had like a lot of respect and love for each other. Anyways, this is a whole unrelated tangent. The thing with Valtinus is I think she has a really good personality, and I think she could throw me really far, and she looks really strong, so I would trust her to do it, and I think she would do it well. And I think much like the rest of everything to do with Faerieland, I think she needs another shot, you know, I think she needs another chance. I think she'd do a good job with it, so that's why she's so high up. I have a lot of love in my heart for Valtinus Rhea. Number 7 is Lorik. I don't know how you pronounce her name. The thing with Neopets too is like they have like a pronunciation guide for like basic words you use a lot, but the character names and stuff, they never really tell you. Like you'd have to like ask a Neopets team member directly how to pronounce it, and even then I feel like there's like not internal consistency, and you'd have to be lucky enough for them to like answer you and stuff. But she is the captain and center forward of Tyrania. It says she makes up for her lack of scoring and speed with good passing, running plays, and talented leadership. This is the little bit that I think is so funny. It says when she joined Tyrania, she was the most lazy player out there, but when she gained more responsibility, she began to turn her game around. She also appeared in a vision of ancient Altador, implying she's either very old or capable of some form of time travel. So one, I think her whole thing about like being lazy and then turning that, like learning to turn that into like drive is very inspirational. Like I want to have that like character arc journey for myself. Like I too would like to like go from like being lazy and like figuring out how to channel that into productivity. But also she just looks strong as fuck. Like I don't actually have any like attachment to her like personally, or like I don't really think about Tyrania's team at all. Like my team doesn't have any particularly strong bonds with them. Like I don't dislike them or anything, but I just like don't really feel anything about them one way or the other. But she just looks strong as fuck. She's a fucking dinosaur, man. Look at her. She's jacked as hell. She looks so smug. Like she knows she would throw me and it would be a good fucking throw. So like I just feel like it would be such a good throw, like maybe one of the best of the night. And so I just trust that it would be a good throw, and that she would like execute it like flawlessly, and that is why I think she's so high up. It's just like, look at her. Like you cannot look at her stature and not be like, yeah, this bitch can throw. So yeah, she's gonna hurl with her wall. It's gonna be great. You love to see it. She's a fucking dinosaur. Like what is not to love? That's why she's there. Number 6 is Lyra Hegel. Lyra Hegel is the captain of the Lost Desert. He is their goalie. I do love that he has the capability of being the captain and the goalie. This is the thing with hockey. I'm sorry, I have hockey on the brain. You can't, like, goalies can't be captains in hockey or in the NHL. And like I understand the reasoning. It's that like they're like kind of like far away from the action. They're like stuck in their creases, so they can't really like do a lot of the stuff that like captains are technically supposed to do. So a lot of the times, even if they are like their teams like technically like kind of behind the scenes, like they have like a very like strong leadership presence and leadership role, they can't like I was gonna say legally, they can't officially become captains because like they're stuck in their creases all the time. But it just seemed unfair to me that like it doesn't matter what you do as a goalie, you just like are never going to be allowed to like ascend to like captain status. So I do like that you can, in this fictional game on this fictional pet website, you can be a goalie and a captain. Anyway, Lyra is, some say the highlights of his career are behind him, but he begs to differ. He's always the first to arrive at practice and the last to leave. So I like love that. I love that he is so committed to doing a good job, working hard. Again, I just put him high up. Like, I don't have any affection particularly for Lyra. Again, like Lost Desert is one of those teams that like I respect what they're doing. I respect that they're like pretty solidly, like they have a really strong presence year after year. But I just look at him and I'm like, you look strong as fuck. Like I can't in good conscience put you any lower when you look so fucking strong. Again, he's a goalie, so like you know he has strong arms, you know he's good arms, he can fucking hurl shit. Like I just feel like it would be such a good throw. He like looks strong as hell. And I just like, I love cows. I think cows are so cute. I don't love cows on Neopets. Like I don't think the pet is like particularly like, the pet form of them is not my favorite, but just as a concept, they're so cute, cows. That's all. He's just jacked as fuck. That's why he's so high up. Number 5 is Volgoth. He is the captain of Mystery Island. He's a forward. His main skill is power. And I think if you looked at him, I don't know how you could like disagree with that. He's a Mincy, and usually Mincies are pretty small. Like we saw not Montecito. We saw, who was it earlier? Voltagio. We saw Voltagio earlier. Like usually Mincies are that small. Like, they're like pretty like small, diminutive little dudes. He's jacked as fuck for a Mincy. His main skill is power. So again, like jacked as hell. I think again it would be a very strong throw. Like I think he could throw me like a really far distance. Like I think he would throw me far enough that you would not see where I landed. But I also trust that he would do it safely. Like he would throw me far, but in a safe manner. I also just like that he kind of like looks like he might not be the smartest, but he is. Like you look at him and like you look at his quotes and he just like, he seems very self-aware of like where Mystery Island can improve, what they're good at, what their strengths and weaknesses are. And yeah, he's been on their team since the beginning. I just like, I don't have a whole lot to say. Again, Mystery Island is like a Lost Desert where they kind of fly under my radar. I don't have a lot of like attachment to them, but my god, look at this guy. He's so jacked. Love and light to Volgoth and his like insane muscles. Number 4, Leighton Vickles. If this was again a ranking of how much I love these characters, Leighton would be second. Leighton is like my second favorite person on Darigan Citadel, and therefore my second favorite like Altador Cup player ever. I fucking love Leighton Vickles. He is the captain of Darigan. He's a forward. He's quick. So it says he's quick at scoring goals, creating plays. He's an asset, and of course, like Darigan is like we haven't always been the best. Like we've had like podium finishes, we won the cup, but like we haven't been like the best of the best, but we've never like been actively bad. Like even like on our bad years, we are very much middle of the pack. And I think I very much I very much tie that to Leighton Vickles' leadership. I just think he is so capable. Like he knows how to bring out the best in his team. I think he has so much faith in his team, and I think that speaks to like why they haven't really had very many roster changes other than like Mungo retiring and Reshar stepping in as a rookie. Otherwise though, like he has like helped Reshar like basically blossom into this like wonderful goaltender. He keeps his team pretty tight knit. He gets along with people. I just think the fact that no one has wanted to leave, there haven't been a whole lot of roster changes, that really just speaks to his ability to like lead in the locker room, and like really his ability to like inspire faith and confidence in his team. Like even when they get like 8th, 9th, 10th place, even if that like brings him down like emotionally, he doesn't really, again, so much of this is based on my own headcanons because I'm so invested in this team, but I just think he gives us this perception that even if he's down on himself, he never takes it out on his team. Like their failures, their losses, they're all his responsibility. They're never like the team's responsibility. He never puts what he's feeling on them, and he always like encourages them in a way that makes them put their best foot forward, you know? Like even when they're not winning, they kind of are, just by virtue of being the team that they are. Yeah, so he's been their captain and on their team since the beginning. He's a hissy. The thing with him is I don't super love his current design, but one of his older designs was like so cool looking. Like I think generally like the more they've redesigned hissies, the worse I think they've looked. Like they've progressively gotten stupider looking, to be honest with you. But the original vision of the Darigan hissy, where like their like wings were like fully like wings and not just like weird like I feel like now I feel like a lot of the like actual like pet like the like pet versions of hissies, they have like strayed so far that the wings don't look like wings anymore. Like they look like fists. But like I just like love the original iteration of the Darigan hissy with their super menacing like bat wings. So iconic, so fucking cool. I just love it. Leighton Vickles, I just think he's so cool. He's an icon. I don't like, clearly he can throw things because he has like the sling, and he has like, he's a forward, so clearly he's good at catching and throwing. So like, even though I don't know the mechanics of how he does it with wings, he would be able to do it with me. And I don't, like, even if it wasn't the farthest throw, I would just be, again, I would be so honored and so blessed and so touched to like encounter him. Like literally, like I would like I love him so much. Like this is so dumb. I'm literally talking about virtual pet characters, but like I cannot explain to you how much I love Leighton Vickles. So I like literally like shipped him with like, the #1 person on this list, who we'll get to in a second, but I have like literally a pet that is named after the ship name that I like created for them. And not even in like a real shippy way, because again, like they're like animals of different species, so you can't really like ship them, but it was just like their bond and their relationship, and like what I imagine it to be in my head is like so important to me. I love Darigan. Like, their whole team is so important to me. Like, they're like literally a family. Like, I need to stop. I need to stop. But oh my god, I love Leighton Vickles so much. Like, truly, like, would die for him. Number 3 is Kral Vitor. He is the captain, I believe. Yeah, I think so. Okay, so yeah, Kral Vitor is the captain of Haunted Woods. He is a defender, and he leads with his guarding tenacity on the field. In 2018, he announced that that season would most likely be his last, but he's still playing. So like, I admire that he can't fucking quit. Like, he can't let it go. He's like, you're gonna have to drag me off this fucking field, and I respect that for him. So yeah, he's been playing since the beginning, like, since 2006. He's been on their team, leading the charge. My thing with, again, I love Haunted Woods because, again, like I said, like, I have a kinship between Haunted Woods and Croc Island. Like, I feel very connected to those teams. Like, if I was somehow, like, it used to be like before they had 18 teams, they had 17. Because originally when the Altador Cup started, there was only 16 teams, and then they added a team because they discovered, was it Moltara or Shenku? Basically, like, they discovered new teams, or like new worlds, so they had to add new teams, but for a while it was like lopsided, like they didn't have enough worlds to do like an even number of teams. So like a team would have to sit out every year. I think Kiko Lake had to sit out 1 year, Brightville had to sit out 1 year, maybe Crulador, but I could be wrong. But had that happened, it never happened to Darigan, but I think because they're so popular, they couldn't bring themselves to do it. But had that happened to Darigan, like, I think my backup team that year probably would have been Haunted Woods or Croc Island. But, so I feel a strong kinship to that team. And just looking at Kral Vitor, like, again, he is so fucking jacked. Like, look at him. He's a Kiri, but he's a Howling Kiri, obviously. So he's like really big, really like jacked, looking very like werewolf-esque. He's not a werewolf, obviously, but like, you know, like he's got like the big like hulking shoulders. He's a defender, so like maybe not like the best at like aiming, because like scoring is not really his thing, but like I just think his throw would be so capable. And again, like I feel affection for him because Haunted Woods. We're almost done, man. Number 2 is Garvin Hale. Garvin Hale became captain of Croc Island after Dasher Solely retired. He's their goalie. To many, he's considered the best goalkeeper playing currently, so he's like the Carey Price of the Altador Cup, to be honest with you. So like, again, like just like that in itself gets like a million bonus points from me. Yeah, he's also been on the team since the beginning, like since 2006. He goes way back. He's a Pore. Again, like so my thing with Garvin Hale is again, jacked as fuck. Like, look at him. Look at those shoulders. He has insane shoulders. He's insane amounts of like bulk, you know? Like, I know I've said this a couple times, but I think he would be like the best throw of the night. Like, surely would be his. Jacked as fuck, would throw, like, would go the distance, like, would hurl me like so hard, and it'd be so good. It was so fun. And my thing with Garvin Hale is because, again, I think Croc Island and Darigan have like such a, like, they have like a kinship and a bond. Again, one of the stories I wrote from the Neopets Times was between him and Tendrak Shea, who is like I'm kind of giving it away. He's on this list, and he's the only one I have left. But like, he is like I wrote them as friends because I do think they share a similar like broodiness. I think a broodiness, like a kind of a putting on a mask for the world. They're different masks, but nonetheless they're masked. I think it's a kind of situation where like game recognizes game. Like, they both know that they're wearing masks, and so they kind of like, I feel like they can let down their walls against each other, like around each other. I think they have a very strong friendship. Like, they're like, even though they're rivals and they're competitors, I think they have so much respect and love for each other. I think they get along. I think they're drinking buddies. Like, I truly think that they go to the pub and they like get sloshed together and like have a great time. Like, they go to Croc Island and they get sloshed, and it's just like so fun for both of them. I just think they're really good friends. I think they're like a really solid friendship of two people that really understand each other in a way that like not many other people understand them. So like, yeah, I love Garvin Hale. I love my own like interpretation of him that I used for that fic, and that like I think he, like, again, like, I think because he's a captain, he kind of has like this instinctive ability to like protect others and like want to like give advice. And so even though like Tendrak is like on an opposing team and like one of his rivals, he like very much like wants him to like look after himself and like give him advice. Again, like I very much am like obsessed with this concept of like Darigan being a powerhouse and then slowly losing that, and then like having to like reckon with the fact that they used to be on top and they're not anymore. I think as like a person who like used to be really good at school and like used to like everybody had lots of hopes and dreams for me and wanted me to do like go on to do great things, and then I didn't go on to do any of those things. I feel like I have this kind of complex where I like the concept of Darigan being this team that was like had all these expectations put on them to like, once they won the cup once, to keep winning it. and they never like could meet those expectations again. I'm very much fascinated with the concept of like other teams that like either have also been through that. Crop Island, like Faerieland was never good, so they kind of like, so I think like Valson had a really good perspective for Leighton on that front. But with Garvin, it was like Crop Island was also like that. Like again, they like won the cup once and were like powerhouses for the first couple of years, and then like kind of fell from grace a little bit. So the idea of him like having that perspective of like I was there too, like I get it, like we're just getting old, we're slowing down, we're not what we used to be, and having to like reckon with that and having to give that advice to Tanjak. Like anyway, this is all in my head. I'm literally just rambling about my own like essentially Neopets fanfiction. But like I just like in my head like I like love their friendship, and I know that's not just a me thing. Like I know like lots of people had canon them as being like really good friends and having like really compatible personalities. Anyway, so the point being, I love Garvin Hale. Like I just love him in my heart, and he's also jacked as all hell. So excellent throwing ability, like truly. Number 1 is Tanjak Shay. Literally, I love him so much. Like truly, like my most favorite character to ever exist on Neopets.com is Tanjak Shay. He's a Galart. He plays for Darigan, obviously. He is what is he? He's a forward, but I can't remember if he's left or right forward. Anyways, he's one of our forwards. We have 2. Cap and Tormo are both defenders. Leighton and Tanjak are forwards, and then Rasha's our goalie. Again, he's been on the team since 2006. My favorite thing about Tanjak is that like he's literally known for being, we're not on Neopets.com, so I guess I can't say this, he's literally a pussy magnet. Like that's how they wrote it. Like they literally wrote that he has like hordes of fangirls. Like they wrote this on their website and then expected it not to warp people's brains. They wrote that he has hordes of fangirls that follow him around, and he like always has cameras in his face and people scream at him, and I'm like, how am I supposed to like react to that, you know? Like how am I as like a, well, how old was I in 2006? 11? How am I as an 11-year-old supposed to reckon with that, you know? Anyway, so like, I feel like it's so funny because I thought my emo phase came after this, but I look at him and I'm like, oh, I think you created the emo phase. Like you were like, Tanjak Shay is the blueprint of like everything I am, everything that's wrong with me started with this character. I will say. Also, he's injury prone, which I think is like really like cute, you know? Like he's like, this is why like I will say my bias is the only reason he's at the top of this list, because otherwise like he's so injury prone that I would be worried about hurting him if I asked him to throw me. Yeah, in 2018 he was injured for much of the training season, but yeah, his passing and ability to fall back and guard are essential to the team that has worked so hard to get to number 1. Anyways, so yeah, like my thing with Tanjak is I adore him. I love him so much. He's literally the blueprint. Like truly, like, no, again, this is not a furry thing. I've said this at the beginning of the video. I've said this whenever I talk about this character to people. I have to like really emphasize it's not a furry thing. But I also just feel like if Tanjak Shay was like a person, he would look like Bucky Barnes or like Loki or like Murtagh from the Aragon movies. Like that's the kind of like persona he would have. I just love him. I just love him so much. I think he's just so cool. I just like he has like so much swagger. He is all persona. Like he very much like he's the kind of like actually no, I just connected some dots. I connected them. Oh my god. No, if he was a person, he would be like, you know, the lead singer of Moundskin? That would be Tanjak Shay. Because I think he has such a crystal clear understanding of how he looks, how the world perceives him, his place, his interactions with the media, like the way he interacts with like his fans. I think he has such a well constructed image of himself and his place in his world, and how to like I hate using the word manipulate because people like assume it has like, the worst connotations, but how to like use the way people perceive him to his advantage and to his team's advantage. He has all of that. Like I think he comes across as this like broody loner who like is kind of like a womanizer almost. Like I think like I feel like they didn't want to say this on the book on this kid's website, but like basically reading between the lines, what they wanted you to get from him is that he's like kind of like a heartbreaker, right? Like a heartthrob, breaks hearts, always seen with a new woman or whatever. But like I truly think in his heart of hearts it's all image. Like it's literally all image, and it's because he knows, because he's like a quote-unquote pretty boy, or like the closest a Neopet can get to being a pretty boy, because he knows that, he uses that to his advantage. So he has like a complete persona. Like it's all mask, it's all persona. And like in my personal headcanon too is like Darigan, because they are so like the Darigan Citadel, if you were at all aware of the lore in the plots between like Darigan and Meridel, like the Darigan was like not a prosperous place. Like after Meridel stole holy fuck, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I really think there's a colonization aspect going on to like the whole plot with Meridel and Darigan. But after Meridel stole the orb that kept Darigan like prosperous from them, Darigan like descended basically into being like poverty basically, and like nothing could grow there. Everyone kind of like wilted away until like I feel like them all being from that land, even the ones that like there's no way to me it makes sense for Tanjak to not have a keen understanding of what it means to be poor, of what it means to be like barely scraping by. And so I think now that he has all this like privilege and like money and like attention and like, you know, like love and glory basically, I think he's keenly aware of how like fake it all is and how quickly all of that can be taken away. And so I think he uses it to his advantage as best he can, but I don't think it gets to him ever. Anyways, I'm like going on a complete insane tangent. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm like literally I'm obsessed with Tandrek Shea. I love him so much. I think he's like so, for a fictional character written for a fictional sport on a fictional pet website that has like literally like canonically has like maybe a paragraph of information known about him. I think he, within that paragraph, there is so much depth. There is so much like room to like explore what kind of person he is. I love him so much, like truly dear, like he's so dear to me. And that's why he's number one. Like, I know he's injury prone. I know he's not the strongest player on this list, but I just like have so much love for Tandrek Shea that like I had to put him at number one. Like, I had to do it. I also want to have words with whoever drew his like score pose for U-Ball, because like I need to have words with that person. Like I want to know what they're on, what they were taking, their whole situation, because like that did not happen on accident. Anyways, yeah, point being, love and light to Tandrek Shea. He's truly my favorite. He literally is number one, because like if I had the opportunity to be flung by him, I would like wholeheartedly take it. I would like beg him to throw me. I think he would do it because I think it would be excellent PR. I would want to make sure he didn't hurt himself though. But yeah, I could not put him at number one, because I just like I love him so much that like there's no ranking of anything in this world where I wouldn't put him number one. I just love him so much. He's so important to me. Anyways, that's insane. I am an insane person. I need to be lobotomized. Yeah, like I said earlier, if there are any characters or players that I didn't get to that you are curious to hear where I would put in this ranking, drop them down below and I will tell you where I would slot them in. I just literally could not do every single player because there were just too many. This video was already so long and I only did 30 characters and there are like maybe 100 total. If you liked this video, please hit the thumbs up button. If you want to hang out with me on other social media platforms, you can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. And if you wanted to come visit me next week, I post new videos every Wednesday, so please hit that subscribe button and I will see you guys all then. Bye!